up, guys? It's Blackwing, and are you guys ready for this epic Green Lantern reviews to begin? Because I'm pumped. I'm excited for this, and of course, like I said, I'm gonna be doing the oath of the ring I'm doing. So the first book review that we're gonna be doing is Green Lantern Rebirth, and of course, written by Geoff Johns. Now, before this, I start this review, I just want to say God bless Geoff Johns. I mean, the guy has written many things. He's written Superman stories, Justice League, Justice Society, Hawkman, Teen Titans, Superman, Flash, Aquaman. I feel like I would like to see Geoff Johns write a Batman story. I would love to see that. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want Geoff Johns to write a Batman story? I feel like he would do an epic job while doing that. And plus, he's also writing the solo Batman movie for Ben Affleck, and hey, that could be a good time to start. But let's get started with this review, shall we? But first, let's all start with the oath. Ring, finger. Let's do this. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Alright, Lanterns, let's begin. So, our review begins with a ship crashing towards the planet Earth, and inside that ship is none other than Kyle Rayner. Now, just to do a little backtrack, which is what I should have done before. Hal Jordan currently is the Spectre. He's the current host of the Spectre. Guy Gardner is known as Warrior. He's not a Green Lantern anymore, and he has these powers called Vuldarian powers that he got from an alien planet. So the only current Green Lanterns of Earth are John Stewart and I guess Kyle Rayner, if you should say. Kyle Rayner right now is the living host of Ion, who's the entity of will. So, like all of the Lantern entities, they need a host. Not to survive, but they need a living host. So Kyle Rayner was chosen to become Ion, and right now his suit is changed and he has he has a use for a ring, but currently he draws the willpower of Ion from his chest. So Kyle Rayner crashes on Earth, stating that he is coming. And John Stewart and Guy Gardner go to a baseball game and they run into Hal. And then suddenly a lot of people are crowding Hal, stating their sins because the Spectre is God's agent of vengeance. And while that's happening, back with Green Arrow, the villain known as Black Hand sneaks into Green Arrow's home and finds Hal's old Green Lantern ring, and he was about to steal it. Until Hal turned into the Spectre and appeared, Green Arrow shot an arrow into Black Hand's hand. And when the Spectre showed up, he said, "You will live up to your name, Black Hand." He categorized Black Hand's actual hand, so he has no hand. And so Hal feels like the Spectre isn't doing anything correctly. He's confused, and so he disappears. Now, Guy Gardner starts acting up with his Vuldarian powers, and his body explodes, and his organs are trying to reconfigure, but they keep dispersing. So John takes Guy to the Watchtower with the Justice League. Martian Manhunter is doing the nursing procedures on him, along with Dr. Midnight, and then Batman is starting to get all frustrated and worried as usual, because he sees that Coast City has returned back, because before Hal Jordan became Parallax, Coast City was destroyed by Mongul and Cyborg Superman. And suddenly it just reappears, and so does Hal Jordan's old apartment. And Hal goes to Ferris Aircrafts to meet up with Carol, and she tells him that your body is cold and it doesn't feel warm at all. And then suddenly the Justice League follows Hal, and he wants to know what the heck is going on. And then John starts acting all strangely and attacks the League. No one knows, but he just randomly attacks the League, and Hal just disappears, and he goes back to his home and wonders why Coast City is back and why is his old apartment number still around. And then suddenly he gets a feeling inside his consciousness, his inner Parallax, the entity that possessed him, is trying to escape his body, and it's also fighting with the Spectre. So, and it's a battle inside Hal Jordan's consciousness between the Spectre and Parallax. And so John is losing control of himself, and then the ring that Green Arrow had starts to duplicate itself and goes back onto Guy Gardner's finger, and Guy Gardner becomes a Green Lantern once again. So after that, Guy attacks the League out of no one knows why. And then suddenly, back where Kyle Rayner has landed, Kilowog shows up, and then he starts attacking Kyle. And then out of the coffin that was in Kyle Rayner's ship, the Guardian known as Ganthet shows up and tells him to stop. But he actually knows what's going on. Guy Gardner, John Stewart, and Kilowog are all feeling fear, or possessed by fear, by Parallax. And so, back with Hal Jordan, the Spectre loses and Hal Jordan becomes Parallax once again. And so, Kyle Rayner tells Green Arrow what everything is going on, and the origin of Parallax, and how Hal Jordan succumbed to fear. And then he questions, but if that's happening, who's controlling Parallax actually? Well, it turns out the person that's not controlling Parallax is none other than Green Lantern's arch enemy, Sinestro. So, just a little backtrack. When Hal Jordan was possessed by Parallax and he was killing almost every single member of the Green Lantern Corps, the Guardians took as a last resort to free Sinestro to take on Hal Jordan. But Sinestro lost with Hal Jordan snapping Sinestro's neck. Now I bet you're wondering, how did Sinestro survive though? Well, it turns out that Sinestro was nothing but a construct. So pretty much Sinestro was pulling the strings the whole time. And it's what he does best. He really has a grudge out for Hal Jordan because Sinestro was known as the greatest Green Lantern of them all. He turned his home into a total totalitarianism, or dictatorship, I should say. He turned his home planet Korugar into a dictatorship, and then Hal saw that he was abusing his power. He reported Sinestro, and then Sinestro was banned from the Corps, and from then on, he had a grudge against Hal Jordan. So, back on Earth, you have the Justice League, the Justice Society, and the Teen Titans trying to help defeat Parallax and release Hal Jordan. So, Hal Jordan reaches deep inside himself using all his will that he has, helping the Spectre escape Parallax, and he was free. But then, sooner or later, the Spectre starts to disappear, and Hal Jordan is going with him. And then Ganthet, who's actually on the ground, not almost dying, sends a tiny string of light to Hal Jordan and says, Hal Jordan, follow it. And as he follows the light, he sees images of Abin Sur telling him, I gave you the ring for a reason. And then a vision of his father, son, you got the ring, you wore it well, you can do it again. So Hal Jordan becomes Green Lantern of Sector 2814 once again. And then turns out his body was revived from the coffin that he was in, and he was able to save Kyle and Green Arrow from Sinestro. So Hal and Sinestro duke it out for another battle, and of course Sinestro is doing all the smack talking to him, but of course Hal Jordan's also proving himself. Sinestro says, I will kill the alley rat, meaning he calls Kyle Rayner an alley rat. The reason why, because Ganthet gave Kyle Rayner a Green Lantern ring when he was in an alley. So I guess that's Sinestro's nickname for Kyle Rayner, I guess. So he tells him, I will kill the alley rat and I will tear the creature from his chest. And then Hal said, no you won't, you will respect Kyle Rayner. And then Kyle Rayner shows up shooting a whole bunch of green arrow constructs into Sinestro's back, scarring him. And as Sinestro is about to be defeated, he retreats back to the antimatter universe where his yellow ring was constructed. So Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner reintroduce themselves to each other in a proper manner, and then they fly back to Earth to stop Parallax, who now has possessed Ganthet. So Hal, Guy, John, Kyle, and Kilowog are fighting Parallax. And before they could do their battle plan, Batman, out of the stupidest things, he throws a batarang to Hal's arm saying, "We need to talk about this right now." I don't know how you came back, but what happened? And Hal was like, "You're the detective, figure it out." And then Batman goes up to Hal again saying, "You don't need to do this at the moment. We need to talk." And then Hal punches Batman in the jaw. And Guy Gardner says, "Wow, you actually punched Batman." Because if you guys don't know, back when Guy Gardner was a Green Lantern, Batman actually took down Guy Gardner with one punch. So for Hal Jordan to do that to Batman, that's even better. So the Lanterns use their battle plan, and as soon Batman tries to intervene yet again, but Alan Scott tells them, "Let the Lanterns do their job." So Batman's just like, fine. So the Lanterns were able to release Parallax from Ganthet, and Parallax was transferred back into the central power battery where he belonged. And so they celebrate their chance of victory, and then Batman shows up again in front of Hal Jordan and just gives them just a brief little moment of silence. They're just staring at each other eye to eye like this. And then Batman says, "I guess we could shine a little light in the universe once in a while." So I guess that's a sign that Batman approves that Hal Jordan is back. And so Kyle goes back into space. John and Guy are glad that Guy is a Green Lantern again. Hal goes back with Oliver to his home, and Oliver gives him back his old power battery. And of course, that is Hal Jordan's rebirth of becoming the Green Lantern once again. So I could say I did this a little better than most reviews, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, because it's gonna get a lot better from here. Because our next review is gonna be the Sinestro Corpse War, which is one of my all-time favorite Green Lantern story arcs. And if you guys want to know what happens to Sinestro, this upcoming storyline I'm about to review for you guys will tell you everything you need to know. So next time you'll see me wearing a yellow ring on my left hand, because all Sinestro Corp wearers wear the yellow ring on their left hand, while Green Lantern wearers wear it on their right hand. So I hope you guys enjoy this. What do you just in the comment section below for a question for you guys. What do you expect to enjoy from these upcoming Green Lantern reviews? Because I know the Green Lantern mythos has been my favorite ever since I started watching the Green Lantern animated series, and then from then on, when they introduced the Red Lanterns, I had no idea who they were. And then I researched, found out there's so many other cores out there: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and then you have the Black Lanterns. So the Green Lantern mythos, it's so beautiful. It's like, think of it as like the cosmic universe that Marvel does, but it's just amazing to understand and to learn about. So I hope you guys get to enjoy the learning experience of Green Lantern and the War of Light prophecy and the Blackest Night, because Blackest Night is going to be the most heavy hitter of them all. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, I am Vengeance, I am Darkness, I am Blackwing. Stay golden.